once again, good evening, East Alabama, or good morning, I should say, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you on your Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, August 17th, 2021, 6:02 a.m. Central, 7:02 a.m. Eastern. And we continue to watch the remnants of Tropical Storm Fred move through the southeastern United States. Fred just a little bit north of Columbus, Georgia now. That is the latest peg from the National Hurricane Center on the exact center of circulation, or what's left of the center of circulation of Tropical Storm Fred. Fred will continue to move off to the northeast through the remainder of today. Fred should pass very close to Peachtree City a little later on this morning, and then just maybe out there on the western side of downtown Atlanta, and then continue on off to the north, up through the Roswell, basically taking Highway 400 north of 285 there in Metro Atlanta, all the way up through Dahlonega, up there in Lumpkin County, and then eventually up into eastern Tennessee. Now, Fred will be pulling away from East Alabama and West Georgia later this morning, and he'll be taking that heavy rainfall with him as he goes. We did have a couple of tornado warnings earlier this morning. One of them was for Coweta County. Now, that prompted the sirens and the weather alert notifications, not just for Coweta County, but it also set things off for Troop and Hurd over in west central Georgia of the Dr. Don coverage area. So some of you got woke up this morning. Some of you folks over in East Alabama got those alerts as well because you're so close to that area. And, but yeah, there was no tornado warning for any of our East Alabama counties, and that tornado warning only lasted just a couple of minutes, and then they canceled it. And that's the thing about tropical weather. We get these quick spin up small tornadoes that literally form, and then they're gone by the time we get our next volume scan from the National Weather Service. So, I mean, literally 2 or 3, maybe 4 minutes, and these storms dissipate almost as quickly as they form. But nonetheless, if they form right on top of your house, they can be a problem. So that's the way this works. You typically do not see long-tracked violent tornadoes with a tropical system such as we have this morning. So what we do have, though, a couple of different areas I want to talk about. We still have heavy rainfall occurring over here in Randolph County in East Alabama. Let's go in and take a look at that. Let's start from the south and go north this time. And I'll tell you that, hey, you're looking good down here in Lee County. As a matter of fact, the rain is pretty much already moved on off to your north. So if you see any more rain in Lee County, it's going to be just a very light shower from time to time. Chambers, you're looking pretty good, too. From about Lafayette north, we still have rain. Lynette, you're beginning to dry out. Valley, Hughley, Casita, you're drying out this morning. Over here in Tallapoosa County, Alexander City, you're pretty much dry now. Maybe a few showers down there around Jackson's Gap. And then up there around Daviston in the northeast section of the county, we still have some moderate rain falling. Clay County, basically from about Ashland west, things are clearing up for you. Maybe a little light rain continuing there in Ashland. Eastern half of Clay County, still some moderate to heavy rainfall. And then as we get over into Randolph County, still raining pretty good in Roanoke for the moment, but that's about to come to an end. And we have one line of heavy thunderstorms, or heavy rain, I should say. This is tropical downpour rain, stretching from extreme southeastern Clay County over into southwestern Randolph, then basically right up County Road 33 that runs up toward Wedowee, or up there just south of Wedowee. Very, very heavy rainfall on 33 at the moment. Not a good time to be traveling that road. That's a bad road anyway. And then you put this tropical downpour on top of it, it makes it even more dangerous. But up there toward Malone, then all the way back up toward Wedowee, some very heavy rainfall. That continues up 48 all the way up to Woodland, and then all the way back up to Graham, up there in Bucktown, over in Carroll County. Heavy rainfall up in the northwest sections of Randolph County, up around Folsom. We have a small area of heavy rain on 22 right there at the Hurd County line, at the Georgia state line. And then on over into Heard County, Franklin, heavy rain all the way up to Central Hatchie, back down to Hogansville, and then up into Carroll County from just south of Bucktown all the way to Carrollton, and then some heavy rain up there right along I-20 on the interstate. Now, the severe weather, at least for the last hour or so, has been along this line of showers and thunderstorms that stretches from Dublin, Georgia, back up to Sandersville, to Eatonton, and then up to around Covington along I-20, and then over to East Atlanta. I got to tell you, folks, if you don't have to be in Atlanta this morning, don't do it. You know, there used to be a time when you could pretty much figure out when the traffic was going to be at its worst in Atlanta. Well, those days are gone. Traffic can be horrible in Atlanta on a beautiful sunny day at just about any time. You throw a tropical storm in on top of it, and you're fighting a losing battle. Not a good morning to be traveling in Atlanta. Unless you absolutely have to, I would highly discourage coming to Atlanta, Georgia this morning. We have tropical downpours on 285 on the east side, also on the west side on the outer loop. It's just a lot of rain around Atlanta. Not a good time to be there. Also, if we look north of I-20, we see some very heavy rainfall now up into Oconee County near Watkinsville, and then back on up toward Athens. That stretches all the way up to I-85, then back over to around Gainesville, and then back down to Roswell. Up there northwest Georgia, we're seeing some very heavy rainfall coming in now, just west of Rome, just south of Chattanooga, back over toward Dalton. It's just going to be a washout mess across north and north central Georgia for the next several hours. What's left of Fred is moving to the northeast at around 10 to 12 miles per hour. So you can do the math. It's going to take the balance of the day to get this storm out of Georgia. So anywhere from about Macon, Georgia, over to Lafayette, Alabama, and north is just going to be wet for several hours throughout the remainder of the day. Now, we did see an increase in the number of showers and thunderstorms that were producing tornadoes over the last hour or so, and the bulk of that was coming from this area down here in Georgia. You see where all the lightning is taking place now, from I-20 down to Eatonton, down to Sandersville, down to Dublin. And we had multiple tornado warnings issued in the last hour and a half from this area. That has since dissipated somewhat. Now, those storms still look pretty mean. And as we start to get the heating of the day, I expect some of these thunderstorms to go tornadic again. So if you are in the path of this complex of thunderstorms as they move in this general direction, you need to really pay attention over the next several hours as this line of thunderstorms continues to rotate around what's left of Fred, which is the center of circulation, or what's left of the center of circulation would be right down in this area. And that's going to continue moving off in this general direction over the next several hours. And this stuff will rotate up and to the left of this center of circulation. So if you're anywhere along I-20, really from Augusta all the way back to Atlanta, all of these areas here in East Georgia, I'm going to say from the South Carolina state line, this will be over the next couple of hours. Really need to pay attention in this area. If you're inside that yellow box that I just put on the screen over there in central Georgia or middle Georgia, back over into East Georgia, in that area, you really need to pay attention. And you folks up here in northeast Georgia, and I'm right there. You folks up here in northeast Georgia, this will slowly rotate in this direction, while the entire storm system moves in this direction. So all of this will rotate up into northeast Georgia, too, as we go over the next couple of 3 or 4 hours. So everybody up here in northeast Georgia needs to be weather aware as we head throughout the remainder of the day also. Now, back over here in East Alabama and West Georgia, our primary Dr. Don coverage area, and I'm just going to kind of draw a crude line around the area that we cover. That's basically the area that we cover, maybe a little bit further to the west. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's do that again. That didn't look too good. And we get Talladega County too, so we'll include Talladega. All right, that's pretty much our coverage area of East Alabama and West Georgia. And you can see that really what we have left is this heavy rain over Randolph, southeastern Cleburne County, and then our West Georgia counties of Southern Carroll, Hurd, and Troup. Once this stuff moves on to the north, and it'll move northeast as we go through the next couple of hours. Once we get this out of the area, you're done. I mean, look back over here. There's nothing happening back here, and all of that is moving on off to the northeast. So things are going to be improving in East Alabama and West Georgia as we go through the next couple of 2 or 3 hours. And then this area over here in East Georgia is going to be the area of concern with the possibility of severe weather as we go through the next few hours, really even into the afternoon hours for East Georgia and Northeast Georgia. So that's what we're looking at this morning. Again, if you don't have to travel in Atlanta, I would highly, highly recommend that you don't. It's ugly up there. All right, so we do have tornado watches in place that cover most of northeast, eastern, and middle Georgia, middle east Georgia. That tornado watch goes out till 9 a.m. this morning. Probably will be extended and will probably be moved a little bit further north as well. So going to be traveling I-85, especially from about Noonan all the way to Greenville. If you're going to be on I-20 from about Douglasville all the way to Augusta, you really need to know what the weather is because you're going to be possibly running into some pretty heavy storms, especially over on the east side of Atlanta. Good morning to everybody in the chat room this morning. Let's see. Ray Wilkerson is in there. Letitia Barber is joining us this morning. Thank you. Out there on Cody Road. And Jackie Kimbar is watching us from Newell. If you're in there this morning, please at least let me know where you're watching from. If you have any questions or comments, you can post them in our chat room. If you would like to support Dr. Don's Weather, I will give you that website. And there it is. All you have to do is click on drdonwx.com. At the top of the page, you'll see a donation button. Click on that, and then you can support us. And we appreciate anything that you can do. That's what keeps us going here at Dr. Don's Weather. Good morning to Michael Walters from Talladega, Alabama. There's Bernard Shepard watching us this morning. He's out there on County Road 16. He's probably checking them oak trees to see if he can find any any varmints out there in that oak tree. That's a long-standing joke, folks. He knows what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Michael Clark's watching us from Wedowee this morning. There's Tony Morris watching from Graham, Alabama. Carrollton, Georgia in the house. I believe that's Merle Yates. Yeah, Bernard knows what I'm talking about. That's a late night story. We can't do that early in the morning. Good morning, Roanoke. Deborah Gilmore's watching us from Wedowee this morning. Samantha Caldwell in the Roanoke Tin Shop area. Tin Shop is a suburb of the big town of Roanoke. As you climb that ridge. If you're just joining us this morning, again, we're watching still some pretty heavy rainfall in Randolph County and eastern Clay, southeastern Cleburne County, back over into Carroll and Hurd. And that is rotating to the west-southwest, but the entire complex is moving northeast. I know that's hard to visualize, so let me just turn the loop on for you. And the reason I don't use the motion very often is because it eats up a lot of bandwidth, and if you're in a sketchy internet coverage area like I am, sometimes that'll cause issues. But turn it on here, you can kind of get an idea of which way all this stuff is moving. And let me zoom in. We're going to go down here and take a look, get a little closer on our coverage area. And there you can see our center of rotation is, where's Columbus? All right, our rotation is somewhere down here around Pine Mountain, maybe just a little bit south of Pine Mountain, or what's left of the rotation from Fred, down here south of Pine Mountain. And so everything is kind of moving back off to the left, wrapping around, and then the entire system is moving to the northeast. So we've got that heavy band of rain now stretching basically from Hogansville up to around Franklin, up into central Hatchie, and then back into Randolph County, just south of Graham, all the way back down to Woodland, Wedowee, back down to Wadley, and then another area up here in extreme northwest Randolph County and southeastern Cleburne. And you got some very heavy rainfall there. 431 from about Crystal Lake all the way up into Cleburne County. It's a complete washout right now. 33 from Wadley all the way to Wedowee, and then 48 from Wedowee up through New Hope and Woodland, all the way up to Graham, back over to Bucktown, and then on up through Carrollton. Just a messy ride this morning, but the good news is we don't have any severe weather taking place in East Alabama or West Georgia. It certainly is a little breezy, and you got a lot of heavy rain remaining in eastern Clay and most of Randolph and over into west central Georgia. You folks in southwestern Clay County, back over into Talladega County, things are looking much better for you now as the rain has subsided. Coosa County, just a few light sprinkles here and there. For the most part, Tallapoosa County's in the clear this morning, other than some rain up there around Daviston. Chambers County is improving greatly this morning as well. Most of the heavy rain now is out of Chambers County, and down there in Lee County, you are looking good. So let's zoom back out, give you the big picture, and we've got a new tornado warning coming in. This is going to be over in Georgia. Let's see where this one is. This is down in South Georgia. This is a new tornado warning for Lawrence County in central Georgia, south central Washington County in east central Georgia, and northwestern Johnson County in east central Georgia. So that is going to be down here. Zoom back out. And let me stop the motion and bring it current. So here we go. The radar is updating that data just coming from the National Weather Service. This is going to be just north of Dublin, just north of 16. That's the road that leads from Macon down to Savannah. And we've got our watches and warnings turned on. It's going to be kind of hard to see that polygon. So let me turn that off, and well, that doesn't make it much better because the polygon's the same color as the reflectivity. But anyway, it's this general area here just north of East Dublin that we have a tornado warning in effect for. So if you have folks down that way, you might want to call and make sure that they know that they are under a tornado warning. And that's going to be typical as we go throughout the day. You see, this is the flanking feeder band that's coming up and trying to keep Fred alive. And that's where all the veering is taking place. As the storm spins to the left or counterclockwise and then moves to the north or northeast, you get a lot of veering taking place in the upper levels of the atmosphere over here on this right flanking storm line of storms. And so that twisting in the upper levels of the atmosphere, along with the forward motion of what's left of Fred, is what causes these storms to start rotating. And everywhere you see these little ripples in this line of thunderstorm, where there's a little break, and then here it comes again, there's another break, there's another cell, there's a pretty wide break, and then you have another cell up here around Eatonton. That one's got some hail in it. And then these individual groups of lightning strikes, those are the thunderstorms that stand the greatest chance of rotating and prompting tornado warnings today. And for you folks over here in East Alabama and West Georgia, you can see that all of this is well over into East Georgia. It will continue moving to the north. It'll move across East Georgia and up into Northeast Georgia later on this afternoon. We'll stay well away from East Alabama and West Georgia. Yes, we did have one rogue thunderstorm this morning in Coweta County that prompted a tornado warning for Coweta, Troop, and Hurd. Set the sirens off over there and kind of got everybody a little anxious. But since then, we've had no warnings across West Georgia, and we haven't had any warnings at all across East Alabama throughout the duration of this event. All right, let me go back up here to the chat room and see what we got going on up here. Deborah Gilmore's watching us from Wedowee. Samantha Caldwell is up there in the tin shop area. Sarah watching us in Wedowee this morning. Brandy Pike has a question. Is there a way to get updates other than Facebook? My son is in bad weather zone in East Alabama. Brandy, if you are looking for updates for East Atlanta, the best advice I can give you is for your son to I don't know if he has an Apple phone or an Android, but go to his smartphone's store and just search for a weather app, and he wants a weather app that's going to give him local weather warnings. Dr. Don's Weather does not issue weather advisories for East Atlanta, but there are literally hundreds out there that do. So, if he's got his emergency alerts turned on his phone, and most people do, unless he has purposely gone in and turned it off, if he goes under a tornado warning, he's going to get it anyway from the emergency alert system. But he can download any app. WSB has a good one that'll give him information for East Atlanta. But any weather app that does emergency alerts will be good for him to download on his phone, and it follows you wherever you go. DrDonWX.com, Dr. Don's Weather app. We do East Alabama and West Georgia. I don't cover East Atlanta on that one. Marlon Stewart's watching us up there in Wedowee this morning. Good morning, Lorraine Anglin. Down in Lafayette, Alabama. That's right, Alabama, it's Lafayette. Georgia, it's Lafayette. Lisa Jackson is in Central Hatchie this morning. Connie Hester is watching us up there on the hill at Tin Shop. Lisa Jackson says that Fox 5 weather app is the alert that they use, and that's right. That's a good one. Any of the Atlanta major television stations have got pretty good apps that cover Atlanta Metro. And the cool thing about that, if you use Fox 5 or 11 Alive or WSB, they all have traffic reports too. So not only do you get the weather information, you can also see what's going on with the traffic, which is just always a nightmare around this place. Good morning, Susan. Bowden George is in the house. Amanda, good morning to you. And good morning to you, Miss Judy. It is 6:26 Central, 7:26 Eastern on your Tuesday morning as we watch the remnants of Tropical Storm Fred Move through West Georgia. Now just to the north and northeast of Columbus. Fred has weakened to a depression this morning, is no longer a tropical storm. And Fred will continue to weaken throughout the day. Now, when I say weaken, understand I'm talking about the weather that was associated right around the center of circulation will continue to weaken. The pressure will continue to come up. The wind field will continue to shrink. And the wind speeds right around the center of circulation will continue to deteriorate throughout the day. That doesn't mean that the storms out there on the right side or eastern side of the storm are going to weaken. They most likely will continue to strengthen as we go throughout the day, because we're going to start getting the heating of the day going, especially this afternoon. So while you get one message, you have to pay attention to another, especially if you're in middle Georgia, north Georgia, northeast Georgia. Just because what's left of Fred is continuing to decay, it doesn't mean these storms out there on the right side of the storm are decaying as well. They're actually going to be increasing in intensity as we go throughout the day, or most likely they will. We've already seen that start to take place this morning, and we don't even have any real heat going just yet. So very heavy weather possible on the east side of Georgia, basically along and east of East Atlanta. I-20 for the next 2 hours, probably you're going to be dealing with thunderstorms, and that's where the worst of the weather is right now, just south of I-20. That's where the tornado warnings are populating along that line of storms stretching just south of I-20. Very heavy rainfall up there in the Athens area now, especially over on the west side of the loop. And that's slowly moving up toward I-85. Very heavy rain in spots already along and north of I-85 from Cornelia all the way back over to Canton and then back down to North Atlanta. Heavy rain continues across central Randolph County this morning, stretching from basically Graham all the way down to Woodland to Wedowee and then back down to around Wadley. And we'll put that back in motion again to give you a good idea of how all this is evolving this morning. Basically, if you're south of a line from Macon over to LaGrange, to Roanoke, over to Ashland. If you are along or south of that line I just named, you're pretty much already in the clear. It could be a little breezy down there, but the rain's lifting to the north. So if you're south of that line I just named and it's still raining, it won't be long. Should be over with pretty quick. If you're north of that line, rain will continue for another hour or two. Like Roanoke, you're probably looking at another hour. Wedowee, you're probably looking at a couple of hours. Atlanta or I-20 all the way over to Atlanta, you're probably looking at mid to late morning before the rain starts to clear metro Atlanta. And then up here in northeast Georgia, it's probably going to be mid to late afternoon before we get all this mess out of here. And I'm awfully afraid we're going to be dealing with multiple tornado warnings from this line of storms that's encroaching I-20 at this hour. And understand, folks, these are very quick spin-up tornadoes that oftentimes start to dissipate about the time the warnings get out there. I mean, it happens just that quick. These things only last 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes tops. Well, it takes 4 to 6 minutes for the Doppler radar to digest the information and to send it out. So the intervals between the volume scans typically run anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes. And so a lot of times we get the warning out there, and by the time we get to see the next radar loop, the storm is gone. So these are very, very quick, short-fused warnings this morning for these storms down here on this feeder band that's feeding up into what's remaining of Fred. So understand, we're not, so far anyway, we haven't been looking at long-lived, long-tracked, violent tornadoes. But you know what? If one of these spin-ups hits your house, it's just as significant as an F5. So we got to treat them all with great care and make sure that we let you know what's going on out there. Yep, rain continues in Wadley. Some pretty good rain falling over there as well. Raining in Lineville also. Should be coming to an end in Lineville within the next hour. All right, so Linda's asking the question about flooding in Randolph County. Linda, I have not seen any reports of flooding in Randolph County, but that certainly doesn't mean that we don't have some taking place. And I mean, just looking at what's happening on radar currently, it certainly would not surprise me to have some street level flooding anywhere on Highway 48 from Graham down to Woodland, back down to New Hope. Dowie could have some, when I say street level flooding, I'm talking about, flooding on the asphalt, the pavement, because it's raining at such a rate, it doesn't have time to run off. So there could be some ponding on roadways, most certainly, and that would continue all the way down into southwest Randolph County. But I have not seen any reports of like river or creek flooding. But runoff, flooding, parking lots, places that are flood prone, ponding on roadways, I would say there's a good chance that there is some of that taking place this morning on 48 from Dowie all the way up to Woodland and just beyond that. And then also down there in the southwestern part of the county, all of our county roads down there. I've been picking on 33 because it runs from Wadley all the way up to Dowie, but any of the county roads down there in southwest Randolph's getting hammered this morning with rain. And this is the area that has received the heaviest rain in the last couple of hours. And you can see that while this area is kind of rotating back to the left, then down here is going to be rotating this way. So all of this is going to continue moving to the east this morning. But everywhere you see red, I mean, that is, in this type of setup, green is significant rain. So yellow being heavy rain, and that red is very heavy rainfall. Let's see what. Yeah, we got some pretty good reflectivity taking place there. There's a pocket right there that's almost 50 dBZs. And being a tropical downpour, the proficiency of the storm or the liquid maker aspect of the storm is just through the roof. So, I mean, we're talking fire hose water right here. That's some heavy stuff that's falling from the sky. And then back over here in Heard County, just southeast of Franklin, we've got a pocket of heavy rain. Here's another one over here just northeast of Roanoke. Of course, all of this stuff up here in southwestern Carroll County, northwestern Heard, that's heavy rain. Zoom back out, you see, though, we've got some serious rain up here north of Atlanta, from Midtown all the way up 400, up 75, top end of 285, just a nightmare this morning. You'd have to come up with some serious moolah to get me to travel that right now. I promise you, that's horrible. I-85 south coming back through Gwinnett County, back down toward 285. You got to know that's just a parking lot this morning. I-20 is not a good ride from Atlanta all the way back over to Augusta. And I-85, yeah, that's not going to be a good ride either in either direction from Atlanta all the way up to Greenville. right, folks, so that's the way we see it right now. Again, nothing severe for East Alabama or West Georgia, just some heavy rain that will continue across Clay, Randolph, over into Hurd and Carroll, up into Cleburne County for the next couple of 2 or 3 hours. Ending sooner on the south side, ending later on the north end. Excuse me. If you're down there around Roanoke, you may have another hour or so left. If you're up there along I-20, you may have a couple of hours left before the rain pulls out. Atlanta, you're looking at probably midday or probably early afternoon before we get the rain to completely subside in Atlanta Metro. And then up there in northeast Georgia, it's probably mid to late afternoon before we finish. And we got to watch for the possibility of tornadoes across eastern Georgia as we go throughout the remainder of the day. So I'm going to step aside again. If we were to see any changes, if we have any weather watches or warnings that will affect our coverage area of East Alabama and West Georgia, I'll be right back with you. Again, I would invite you to support us if you possibly can. All you have to do is go to our website, drdonwx.com. And there it is. You just click on drdonwx.com. That'll carry you to our webpage. There on the top of the page, you'll see a button that says donate. All you have to do is click on that. Support us any way you can. It's quick, it's fast, it's secure. You do not have to have a PayPal account to do it, though it's quicker. To do that, you can do it with just a credit card as well. So anything you can do to help us out, we greatly appreciate that and hope that you'll consider doing that to help us out this morning. So we're going to leave you with that at this point. Again, if anything changes, I'll be right back with you here on Dr. Don's Weather. If I don't talk to you again this morning, hope you have a fantastic Tuesday and stay dry out there. Be careful if you're out there on the roadways. Bye for now.